how did you get that footage of Diddy?
I think most journalists would not disclose their sources.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. My favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy.
There are no misconceptions about it.
It was one time she jumped off of the ledge, came running over because she thought me and Jay had issues, and I was like, what the? And I was like, did she really just jump down and run over here like that?
Beyonce jumped off a ledge.
Yeah, what happened? It was in the Cosmopolitan, huh?
She really a superhero.
She jumped down and no, she was like, this what? Like that Bonnie and Clyde for real? You try this or what, boy? I'm here.
Word.
Sound like at me. I said,
was Solange with her?
She looked at me like that. I was.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was one. He got some shit. He's like drinking. His pictures with him. He thinks the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
Absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
Jay's definitely.
Jay helped you?
Yeah.
How did you
As a
help?
competitor.
Explain it.
Yeah, because he never was someone that you communicate with that you're like friends with the person. But I always respected him because he was never an actual competitor in actual fact. He was someone who was a competitor to perception.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay.
A fresh wave of chaos is building, blending old whispers, new tension, and unanswered questions into a single high-voltage storyline, with 50 Cent standing squarely at the center. Known for confronting what he believes are untouchable power players, he's long aimed his criticism at Diddy, but now he's hinting at something far larger, suggesting the impact could ripple well beyond one name and into the orbit of Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Oprah, towering figures whose reputations have hovered around speculation for years without direct challenge. According to 50, the recent Sean Combs documentary is just the beginning, and he claims there's more material connected to the same elite network that hasn't yet surfaced. One sharp, viral warning. You're next. Set off a firestorm online, with many interpreting it as a calculated signal aimed at Jay-Z and Beyoncé, especially given the timing. Analysts quickly pointed to decades of overlapping business moves, shared environments, and high-profile circles linking these names, reigniting questions about how deep those connections really go. Now, 50 Cent is implying that former alliances may no longer shield anyone, as old narratives resurface under intensified scrutiny, and if his signals prove meaningful, this could be the opening chapter of a far-reaching cultural shakeup.
More private conversations, and that he and Diddy could talk openly, and Mark could talk to Diddy not just as a client but as a person, and tried to guide him in a time leading up to his arrest. And unbeknownst to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy has got this guy recording the conversation as he's sitting there saying, "You are screwing this up. You are messing up this case. We're losing." And knowing that that's on tape. And it's almost like he's performing for the camera and not telling Mark what's going on. And the really enraging part about it is that Mark Agnifilo won this case for Diddy with legal strategy. it wasn't just an accident that this jury that had heard all of this in the news before the trial voted not guilty on all the serious charges. It was Mark Agnifilo that did that. Yet Diddy secretly records this guy and embarrasses him. And yeah, you could say, well, Diddy never expected that it would end up being broadcast somewhere else. Well, okay, but Diddy was planning on using it, or he wouldn't have had it recorded in the first place. So it's just really, really unfair. And I know that in a way this sounds crazy, that I'm getting so upset about Diddy, and yet there's video of Diddy beating Cassie. Well, that's horrendous, but that doesn't mean you can't look at something else as well. And I just think, as a lawyer, I just think this is just so outrageous that he would do something like this, and not even understanding what Agnifilo's legal theory was. Because I will tell you that when we did our first documentary on Diddy, which was 8 months before the trial, Mark Agnifilo said to me on camera that he is going to tell this jury that this was a successful black man that prosecutors were trying to take down because they couldn't get into his bank accounts because they were clean, and he couldn't deal with they couldn't deal with taxes because he wasn't committing tax fraud. So they go into his bedroom. And that's what Mark Agnifilo said 8 months before. And he goes into the trial and he essentially wins that argument. Whether you believe it or not, a jury that sat through the whole thing, they believed it, and ultimately they convicted him on this BS Mann Act thing. So Diddy won that case. And one of the reasons he won the case is something that Agnifilo got criticized for. That when he did the documentary with me, he was making a joke about the baby oil. Remember, he said, oh, well, I didn't know he bought in bulk. He must have bought 1,000 bottles at Costco. And a lot of people just slammed him for that and said, how dare you? You're being disrespectful. The baby oil is the smoking gun in this case. Agnifilo knew all along that the baby oil was Diddy's best defense. Because when Agnifilo got before that jury in closing arguments, he looked at them and he said, well, the feds came in with their armor and artillery and guns. And what did they do? They got 1,000 bottles of baby oil off the streets. Ooh, he said, the streets are safer now. And the jury laughed. And that laugh told Agnifilo he should keep going on that. And that the trial itself was absurd because the baby oil was really the punchline to the whole.
Fans have also pointed out that 50 Cent has spent years accusing Jay-Z of quietly shielding powerful inner circles in Hollywood, reinforcing his view that real influence often works out of sight. That friction feels more intense now, especially since 50 has proven he's willing to drag uncomfortable topics into the open, as seen with his high-profile documentary that challenged Diddy's polished image. So when he issued the warning, "You're next," it didn't fade into noise. It landed with force. The gravity behind it comes from a rivalry rooted in the early 2000s, when competition between the two reportedly crossed from business into something more personal and never truly disappeared. As time passed, their trajectories split into opposite expressions of power. Jay-Z evolving into a discreet billionaire shaping industries quietly, while 50 Cent embraced the role of outspoken disruptor, building leverage through media, ventures, and direct pressure. One operates in silence, the other commands attention, and that contrast is exactly why, when 50 suggests he might reveal something, the audience leans in.
It's like 50 Cent has set his sights on someone new after the Diddy Netflix documentary. If you aren't aware, 50 Cent has been getting insane feedback from the Netflix documentary he made on Diddy. Sean Combs' The Reckoning is what it's called, and it's #1 all over Netflix, beating even Stranger Things. Diddy himself has responded to it, saying the stories are false, of course, denying everything, and even trying to do a cease and desist on the Netflix documentary. And after this Diddy documentary, a lot of people have been wondering who's the next person that deserves to get exposed. And Jay-Z is the one that a lot of people are pointing their finger at. And the reason why Jay-Z's been getting a lot of this type of backlash is because Jay-Z was really close to Diddy. At one point, Diddy was even calling him his brother, and that Jay-Z's the only one that can call him his real name, Sean. That maybe there's something on Jay-Z's side that has been going on behind the scenes. Now, there hasn't been any solid proof yet, but Nicki Minaj has been going at Jay-Z for quite some time, talking about Jay-Z is manipulative and he steals, and he's been pushing a narrative, and that Roc Nation has control and power over a lot of things. And I can kind of understand where she's coming from to a certain extent. We got to remember when Jay-Z went up on the Grammy stage and said Beyonce never won Album of the Year and complained about that. Literally the following year, Beyonce wins Album of the Year, which is just something like that doesn't show you that there is some power going on there, that there is something behind the scenes that Jay-Z controls. It's clear as day that it's all politics on who wins Grammys, you know, who gets the better light and things. So that kind of opened my eyes, you know, as to Roc Nation's power and how they manipulate things in the media. I'll never forget Jay-Z would get this like special treatment all the time when it comes to the media. I mean, Hot 97, when they interviewed Jay-Z, they literally rolled out a red carpet. They never did that for any other artist. So Jay-Z's always had this kind of special treatment when it came to things. But now the question is Jay-Z involved in crazier things? I mean, there's been a lot of speculation in a lot of different ways, and people are pointing their attention towards 50 Cent wanting him to do a Jay-Z documentary. And it looks like he might actually do it, because on Instagram, he posted a drawing of Jay-Z that kind of makes fun of his looks. And he posted that photo and he said this in the caption: "Please stop sending me stuff like this. I'm not going to post it." Basically making a joke, you know, because obviously he posted it on his social media. But, and here's the interesting but in this, is someone commented on the post, and the comment got liked by 50 Cent. And this is the comment. It's from Dom KMDA. I hope I pronounced that right. Dom Kanmada. He commented saying, "My only question, he's next, isn't he?" And 50 ended up liking that comment. And here's the thing. I actually saw this on Twitter and X, you know, whatever, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to confirm, is this real? Because a lot of people Photoshop these type of things just to create drama and create this speculation. So I actually DM'd the guy himself, and I showed him the photo, and I asked him, "Hey, is this a real photo? Did 50 like your comment?" He said, "Hey, yes, he did." And I was like, perfect. Thank you for confirming. Thought it was Photoshopped. I will appreciate the response. And he said, "I was surprised as well. Didn't see that coming." So shout out to him for, you know, responding to my DM and confirming that, you know, the comment actually got liked by 50, because, you know, a lot of people Photoshop and spread narratives. So me being the proper journalist, whatever you want to call me, news reporter, I, you know, wanted to go get to the source and see if it was actually real. There's also something that's very interesting that went over a lot of people's heads, and that's the documentary coming out on December 2nd. That Diddy documentary coming out on that date. Literally 2 days later, you have Jay-Z's birthday, December 4th, which to me sends a subliminal message to Jay-Z that you're next. So that's crazy. That just, to me, you know, shows that 50 is potentially gonna work on something going at Jay-Z, and he might get Nicki Minaj involved, because Nicki Minaj has a huge issue with Jay-Z with a lot of things, and I don't even know the full details of that, because she's gone at Jay-Z for...
Over the years, Jay-Z continued operating within elite circles, aligning with major players across entertainment, media, and corporate power, including Diddy and Oprah Winfrey. And whenever 50 Cent sensed what he believed were issues being quietly managed out of public view, he fired back in his trademark way through sharp humor, public shots, and strategic online moves. But this moment hit differently. For the first time, he issued a clear, direct warning aimed at Jay-Z, signaling that he may possess information capable of impacting the Carters, a move that immediately drew attention because 50 isn't known for bluffing. His history of following through pushed Jay-Z and Beyoncé into the center of online speculation, and that's when Oprah's name resurfaced. Observers revisited 50's long-standing criticism of her influence, arguing that scrutiny is often applied selectively, intense for some, restrained for others at the top. He's pointed to past documentaries, industry ties, and personal experiences to support that claim, and to his supporters, these overlapping connections suggest the current situation may stretch far beyond a single individual, signaling a much broader spotlight beginning to form.
Oprah, Epstein, he was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support them. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z. We the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff. But you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward.
The story widens as earlier criticisms and controversies linked to Oprah Winfrey resurface, many rooted in long-running claims from Black entertainers who said they felt mischaracterized, sidelined, or unfairly handled during major public moments, concerns that have circulated for years and were often highlighted by 50 Cent as examples of what he calls uneven accountability. Alongside that, discussions tied to her Leadership Academy reemerge, mixed with old online theories that were later dismissed, but still left unresolved chatter in the public space. Now, with 50 already confronting one major power figure through a globally watched project and suggesting that others no one would expect could be next, fans believe Oprah could face renewed attention as well. Fueling that view is a tightly woven history of professional overlap, her vocal support of Beyoncé, public alignment with Jay-Z's ventures, frequent appearances at elite gatherings, and mutual reinforcement within influential circles. Individually, these links seem routine, but taken together, supporters argue they point to a pattern of deeply connected alliances, one that's now being re-examined as past relationships are pulled back under a far brighter spotlight.
Why Beyonce didn't want to speak and does not speak to Brandy. And the truth of the matter is, there she go back there with Monica and Kelly, and there go Patti LaBelle, and then there goes Solange, all right? And there's a reason why Solange is around as well. Because if you guys don't know, for a while, Solange and Beyonce actually were not on speaking terms, but they're back talking now, they're back cool, and basically Solange is around to keep Beyonce spiritually protected. Solange is the spiritual protector of that family. Don't get it twisted. Mama Tina is powerful. Solange is the most powerful list. You better ask some damn body. All right. Now, the reason why Beyonce ain't came to speak to Brandy, baby, is because Beyonce does not talk to anyone who used to sleep with Jay-Z. Okay. Whether you guys know it or not, and I have to say allegedly, right? Jay-Z and Brandy used to talk back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean like late 90s type stuff, right? Brandy always kept Jay-Z on the low back in the day because, quite honestly, he was too ugly to be out in public with. I'm just keeping it real. To claim him publicly, he was too ugly back in the day. Now, when you try to search up pictures of Jay-Z and Brandy, you will find... Hold up, let me see. Hold up. Let me see, because I thought I had a picture of them two. Brandy and Jay-Z. Now this would have been from let's see, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Brandy and Jay-Z. Okay, there we go. Now this picture of them was in 2002. All right, and this was I think was at one of her album release parties, if I'm not mistaken. This was a year after Moesha rap, because Moesha went off air in 2001. Yes, he was dealing with Beyonce at the time as well, and Blue Cantrell's what he was. Let me tell you, Jay-Z was laying it low and spreading it wide. Jay-Z was one of those dudes in the industry that, you know, you messed around with. He piped you down, but before he was really him, you did not claim him publicly because he was just simply too ugly. It was what it was. But Jay-Z was in love with Brandy then. He's not in love with her now, but he still has love and feelings towards her. He's one of those people that feels like once he done had you and once he done loved you, he always feels like he has like possession over you. Jay-Z is one of those kind of men, baby. I don't know if they told you. Jay-Z is extremely, extremely, extremely jealous, extremely, extremely controlling, and extremely, extremely possessive. That's another reason why. Hold up. Where'd the picture go? Wait a minute. Where'd the picture go? That's another reason why Beyonce up here. Wait. Anyway, y'all get the point. That's another reason why Beyonce, over the years, a lot of the music that she's made, it's always been with him. A lot of the remixes, it's always been with him or somebody that he approves of her to work with. Okay. Jay-Z was so damn controlling, he didn't even want her father, talking about Matthew Knowles now, he didn't want her father managing her anymore, and he stepped in. And if y'all notice, when Jay-Z stepped in as Beyonce's manager, the music changed, everything changed, and the money started to get effed up. But that's another story for another day. We're not getting on that right now. We're sticking with Brandy and Jay-Z right now. So they started messing around on the low in the 90s. Even to the early 2000s, they were still messing around. I'm not exactly sure which year the relationship officially ended, but just know that Jay-Z was just basically good for, that was what he gave. He gave big, I don't know no other way to put it, but he was like, for the ladies that's watching, you know, like, if you ever dealt with like a tall, ugly with big pipe, you went to him to get piped down, but you would not like ever like claim him like that because he was just super ugly. It was what it was. And before he really blew up, didn't nobody want to be seen with him like that. It is what it is. And quite frankly, Jay-Z dated a lot of your favorite female stars from back in the day, but they would not.
Diddy and Jay-Z have long operated within the same high-powered business and social sphere, crossing paths through collaborations, elite events, and rarefied spaces where influence circulates quietly. And according to 50 Cent, that tightly sealed world is now feeling real pressure. The conversation escalated after Ray J hinted that certain high-profile figures connected to Diddy were uneasy about the possibility of unseen material surfacing, leading some to subtly step back as public attention intensified. As speculation spread, Jay-Z and Beyoncé were repeatedly mentioned, not because of direct claims, but because of proximity. Shared venues, overlapping ventures, private gatherings, and consistent presence within the same inner layers of entertainment leadership. In an industry built on connections, closeness alone can draw scrutiny, and as old alliances are reassessed, fans believe individuals once viewed as untouchable are now standing under a far harsher, more revealing spotlight.
You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it was like this, like Black Excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch. Like,
I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's crazy. He just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation break. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Oh, yeah, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
I know, right? Proximity.
Hold on. Proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I learned that.
Do you think you knew all of the shit that was going on? Yeah, that was like a...
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it...
Like I said, I can't.
No matter how you answer that, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a nice kind of question.
You asked the question like a fan.
I grew up with white people, but it's one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
Here's a great question. Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce
Lechemin-de-Roi.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Because I know Branson. That's the one I pronounce.
Branson. That's the Branson lifestyle. You're going to be outside.
You're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got it in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. Or to remember, buddy. I didn't give her a drink so she.
This is exactly why 50 Cent's warning lands with real force. It isn't driven by gossip, but by a dense network of long-standing associations tying Oprah's past controversies, Diddy's public turmoil, Jay-Z's strategic silence, and Beyoncé's tightly controlled image into one fragile structure of influence. 50 has made it clear that industry power no longer intimidates him, and the impact of the Diddy documentary showed that consequences don't stop with a single name. Anyone who moved within that orbit professionally or socially is now under sharper observation, not because of direct claims, but because proximity carries weight in a world built on access. As 50 hinted at additional projects, subtle shifts followed. Legal teams revisited old ground, public messaging quietly changed, appearances were recalibrated, and online traces disappeared. Those silent adjustments only amplified public interest, triggering tough questions about who saw warning signs, who stayed quiet, and why. And as long as 50 keeps pulling on these threads, many believe more powerful figures could be drawn into the spotlight, ready or not.
The 50 Cent Diddy doc. First and foremost, we've been talking about this thing, Jack, for going on 2 years now. And once again, thank you for even being, I guess you could say, a beacon during this whole conversation as far as kind of spreading light on a lot of things that go down in the industry that, you know, the normal person may not even see or hear about that happens in the day-to-day. Did you really think 50 Cent, when he first mentioned it, that there was an actual documentary being worked on?
Well, see, this is the thing. I can believe that it was happening. At what purpose? See, and that's the thing. Like, my opinion about all of this stuff is so much different than your average person's, and my outlook is so much different than your average person's. Did I believe that it was possible? Absolutely. Why wouldn't he be able to do a documentary? Why wouldn't he be able to bring in Alexandria to come and put this together? Like, the woman who directed this, she doesn't even seem to have a background in hip hop at all.
That makes sense.
So it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I mean, for crying out loud, Diddy sent him freak off videos.
True. Very true.
Interviews
very true.
about it.
Did you feel that just 50 Cent's name being attached to it again? These are two, as everyone knows, the three names in hip hop are Jay-Z, Diddy, 50 Cent when it comes to the status of where you could get as a business or a brand.
I guess so.
So for the top three individuals, for one to go at the other and release this doc, I don't know, what does that say to again, I keep asking about the hip hop state of things. What does that say to hip hop? Like, are we our own downfall? I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on what you consider hip hop. Like, I don't consider any of this debauchery, any of this animalistic crap. I don't consider any of this hip hop. I grew up in hip hop. You know, I know what hip hop culture is, and it's none of this stuff that people are selling.
I mean, when did it stop being hip hop? We're gonna go through the documentary itself, but when did it stop?
It stopped being hip hop when it became corporatized. It stopped being hip hop when certain groups of people saw that they could use it to influence the mass public. When people saw how influential hip hop was, it became very clear. Once upon a time, not long ago, where people wore pajamas and lived life stuff, you know, the laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to good. There lived a little boy, and he was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said: "Me and you, kid, we gonna make some cash, robbing old folks and making a dash."
Come on.
Like, they did the job and money came with ease, but one couldn't stop us like he had a disease. He robbed another and another and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a...
Jay-Z's presence at private gatherings, Beyoncé's appearances at connected events, and Oprah's public praise of figures now under scrutiny don't suggest wrongdoing. But their names continue to surface in the same conversations, and in today's climate, proximity alone invites focus. 50 Cent has made it clear this moment is just the opening phase, and after openly challenging one of hip-hop's most powerful figures, many believe any next step would involve someone of equal influence. What sets 50 apart is simple. He doesn't rely on access or approval. While others built power through alliances and carefully managed images, he built his through independence, controlling his media, businesses, and platform outright. That freedom allows him to say out loud what others only hint at, confront figures long treated as untouchable, and support his position with documentation, timelines, and first-hand accounts.